Hi, and welcome to Lightdash Advanced for business users. We're going to build on top of the fundamentals video here and show off some of the more advanced functionality that Lightdash has to offer for exploring your data. We'll discover how to leverage tools such as custom metrics and dimensions alongside table calculations to supercharge your data exploration. We'll also talk about how to save your content and create awesome dashboards that others in your organization can use. We'll get started here in an example Lightdash instance I have available that contains a whole load of e-commerce data. You can get to this using demo.lightdash.com if you want to explore yourself. Let's head straight to the Orders Explorer to see how custom dimensions and metrics work. For a quick recap, dimensions are the things we group by, and metrics are the things we aggregate. So count, sum, or average, for example. Right now, I can easily return something like the count of orders per month. So I know my metric is order count, and my dimension is going to be month. So let's run that query. And Lightdash will come back with a nice output showing me orders per month. There's a lot more functionality in this Explorer though. We're going to start with custom metrics. So for any of my dimensions here, I can click on the options button, for example, for partner ID, and you'll see I get a few options. Some of them are familiar. I can add a filter, I can view the description, but I also get options to add some custom metrics. In this case, I'm going to use the count distinct metric here. So let's click on that. And then I'm now creating a metric I can use. So this will be maybe unique partners is a good name for this. I also have options to add specific formatting and filters, which we can come back to later. For now, let's create this custom metric and see what happens. So my new custom metric has been added to my Explorer here, and if I scroll down a little bit, you'll see down at the bottom I have my unique partners under a new heading, custom metrics. So if I just want to see the total unique partners we have in this Explorer, I can remove some of these metrics and dimensions, run a query, and I can see I get the number 9. So in this Explorer there are 9 different partners that we can check out. Sometimes you'll just want to count something like this, like the number of partners, but most of the time, these metrics will already be included in the standard metrics list. Right? Someone in your data team has recognized that you probably want to see the count of unique partners, and so has defined that for you already. However, custom metrics allow you to do some more powerful things when combined with another feature, the table calculation. So let's take a look and see what table calculations can do, and then we'll combine them with the custom metrics later. So let's start with a blank slate here. Let's say I wanted to know the percentage split of profit between different partners. Right? I can identify the dimension we want to split by will be the partner name, right? And my metric is going to be sum of profit in this case. Let's run that. Okay, so we have our partner name, we have our sum of profit. But what I really want to see is the percentage split between my partners. And if you want to do that, you can use table calculations. You can create these in a few different ways. We'll start with the easiest way, with the presets. So if I hit the little arrow beside the metric here, I get a drop down and I can add some quick calculations. So there's one that fits what we want to do, which is percent of column total. Note, we now have a new column and a new color, right? Table calculations always come under a green column in Lightdash. And in the background, they're kind of defined using SQL. And I can see the percentage of profit coming from each partner. So 46% from Redwood Ranch. Nice. I can also use table calculations to do simple kind of calculations. For example, maybe my sum of profit here doesn't include tax. I might want to multiply it, maybe to add VAT, maybe I multiply it by 1.2, and that would look like this. So in here, in table calculation, I hit the plus button here. I might do profit including tax. And here I have a little input box. It will auto-complete what I have in my table, so I can choose profit, order sum of profit, and then I can do multiply by 1.2. I can also adjust the formatting here. So I want this to be a currency, so I'm going to choose currency, and I'm going to choose USD here. So we can save that, and we should now see that the profit including tax is 20% higher than the standard profit here. I can do other things as well. I can add other metrics. I can take metrics away from each other. The possibilities are really endless. You can write any valid SQL, but a lot of the time your intuition will take you a lot of the way if you're just multiplying, dividing, that kind of thing. So as a final example, let's combine together a custom metric and some table calculations. So I need to reset my Explorer here, and you can use a handy keyboard shortcut, which will be Command Option K on Mac, or Control Alt K on Windows. So imagine I wanted to understand the ratio of order counts between two countries, the UK and the US. First, we can make two custom metrics, one to count orders for the UK and one for the US. So I'll head to order ID here, hit the count distinct. I'll do US order count, and I'll add this filter. So I can filter on any dimension here from my Explorer. I'm going to use shipping country here. And this one will be US. Create that, and then we'll do the same thing, but we're going to use a different filter here. So it's the GB order count in this instance. So my filter here, again, going for country, and this will be GB. Great. So now I have my two custom metrics. I could have added some formatting in here if I wanted to, but for our instance, we're just using numbers, so we don't need to do that. So once I've made those metrics, both of them appear in the results table, and I can hit Run Query to see the results and see that they're actually pretty close. So 424 US orders all time, 460 orders from GB. Hitting the table calculation button brings up the screen to allow me to divide one of these metrics by another. So let's do that. We can do the US orders divided by the GB orders. And again, I get my autocomplete here. So nice and easy. And I'm going to call this US to GB order ratio. Cool. Again, that'll just be a number for us. So we'll save that. Straight away we rerun, and we get this ratio, which is 0.922. So for every GB order, we have 0.922 US orders. Table calculations also allow you to do things like running totals, percentage change from previous rows, and so much more. They're reactive as well, so once we set them, they will react to whatever the results table is. So if I wanted to see this split by partner, for example, I just need to pull in the partner name dimension, hit Run Query, and we get to see the US to GB order ratio for our different partners. Very powerful feature when combined with the custom metrics. Do check out the docs and explore to see what's possible. The last thing we're going to cover in the Explorer here are custom dimensions. So these can be useful if you want to do something like see how many orders were in different buckets for profit. So we'll see an example of that. Note that for these custom dimensions, you have to have elevated permissions to access these, as they allow custom code access to the underlying data model. So you might not see this option. If not, speak to your data team. So onto the example. Again, we'll use that handy shortcut, Command Option K, and we'll reset here. So I might want to see the number of orders that were aligned to a certain kind of amount of profit. So standard operation here might be, okay, I need my profit dimension and my order count. So this lets me see that for orders with a specific profit of $6.60 here, I've got about 1,500 of those. And again, for each individual profit amount per order, I have a number of orders here. But really what I want to see is a kind of binned version of this. So I want to see the count of all orders between $0 and $5 profit, etc. And we're going to use custom dimensions to do that. You create them very similarly to custom metrics. So under profit, I can hit the options here, and straight away I have an option for add custom dimensions. So we'll go ahead and hit that. We are going to call this profit bins, and our bin type will be fixed width. So we want like $5 widths here, and we can create that custom dimension. You can see the dimension has been automatically added to my results set. It's also available right at the bottom of the left-hand panel. So down here, again, where you would see your custom metrics as well. I just need to clean up my results a little bit here, right? So I want to remove my profit here. I probably also want to just move this around so I can drag that. And this is looking good now. You can see I've also got this handy chart that's been kind of automatically generated, showing the distribution of my order amounts by these kind of profit bins. Custom dimensions can also be created from scratch using the Add button at the top of the left-hand side panel. So if we scroll up, we have this Add button. Here, for example, I could create a dimension that groups together Gmail email users and others using some kind of simple SQL. So paste that in here. So I have this SQL, which is case when email like Gmail. So if the email contains the string Gmail, then I want to set this to output as true. If it doesn't, then I want to output this as false. So this dimension type is a Boolean, right? It's either true or false. And our label is going to be something like is email Gmail. So we'll create this now. Once created, I can use it like a normal dimension. So for example, if we wanted to see the order counts between Gmail users and other users, I can see that here, right? So our Gmail users account for 37,000 orders. That's pretty much it for custom metrics, dimensions, and table calculations. One final thing to note is that whatever you create is limited to your specific Explore instance or kind of saved chart. Other users, if they load up the orders table, won't be able to see the dimensions, custom dimensions, and custom metrics that you've made. But if you share this link with your colleagues, they will see them. Now let's move on to a few other features and start saving charts and editing dashboards. So I might want to go from here and create a chart that shows the split of Gmail versus other orders over time. Let's add another dimension in here. We'll go for month. And let's limit this Explorer to just show us the last 12 complete months of data. So I can add a filter here. And then I'm going to say in the last 12. And then completed months. So let's run that and get a results set back. Okay, right now my results set, it's a little bit messy. So I'm going to move my metric over to the right, just drag it, and my order date month over to the left. And then I also need to sort out the sorting here. So I want the order date here to be in order rather than random as it is now. And I can hit this sorted button here. So I can see actually my table right now, my results table is sorting by the order count. So I have that descending. But really I want to sort by order date month. So I can click this button and I'll sort from old to new. So I've now added that sort. However, nothing has changed here. I need to go into this sort option and move some things around. So this will apply sorts one by one. I'm going to move my order date month up above my order count. And we should see that my results set now makes a lot more sense. Now let's work on the chart itself. So I want a bar graph here showing the split per month. So I need to hit the configure button and we're going to change some things here. I'll change the x-axis to be the order date month. Already looking a lot better. My y-axis order count is all good, but I'm going to group by is email Gmail here. Okay, great. I can add some value labels to this too. So I have many other options here. Under series, I can change the value labels. I'll change that to top. Right now they're standard numbers, but if I decide I want to change the formatting, I can do that right in the results table. So heading down to the little arrow here, we have an edit format button. I'm going to change this to be specifically a number, and I want it to be in the thousands, and I'm just going to give it 1 decimal place as well. I think that'll look best. I get a little preview of what that'll look like, and I'll save my changes. Great, so now my numbers are a bit smaller up here and easier to read. I also might want to change my series labels here. So right now they're true and false, but it's not too obvious what that might be referring to if I'm just looking at the graph. So for false, I could change this to is other email, and true, I could change that to is Gmail email. I can also change the colors here. So let's change this to a nice green, and we'll change Gmail to orange. Okay, great. Moving on in our chart configure, I can go to axes and I can start entering labels here. So here I might want to show that this is the order count, for example. And now we have that showing on our left-hand side of the graph. So we have a nice looking graph here now. I think it's easy to read. There are lots of other options for adjusting charts in Lightdash. Again, check out the docs for more examples and kind of explore yourself to see what you can do. So let's go ahead and save this chart. So I get a few options when I hit the save button. Chart names and descriptions are important because it allows other users to discover your content more easily. The search functionality will pick up on both the name and the description. So we recommend that you take your time filling that in, and also that your chart description should be in the form of a question. All right, so I'm going to use what is the split of orders that come from Gmail users per month? And my description might add a little bit more detail. It's going to be compares the split of orders that come from Gmail users compared to all others for the last 12 months. We also then get to select a space. So spaces are folders where we can store charts and dashboards. One thing to note here is that spaces can have user level permissions assigned to them. So for example, you could save this in a space that only you or members of your team have access to, or you could save it in a public space where everyone could see it. I'm going to save this one to the kind of public sales space, which by default will be able, anyone who has access to the Lightdash instance will be able to see that. So let's do that. So this is my chart. This is what other people will see when they open this chart. And we can use the breadcrumbs in the top left here to go and look at this spaces, the sales space. So in this space, I have kind of one dashboard here, the sales dashboard. I can also hit charts, and I can see there's a bunch of charts in here, including the one that we just made. You can use the breadcrumbs again to go and see all spaces. So right now, there's 4 public spaces here, and I'm not a part of any private spaces. But I could create a space and make it private to only me, or only me and a few of my colleagues. It can actually often be useful to create your own private space where you can then test things out without other people being able to access that content. You can always move it to a more public space once you're happy with it. So we're going to now create a dashboard that we can add our chart to. So within the sales space, let's head back there. We're going to hit this plus button and create a new dashboard. Let's just call it sales example for now. And again, a nice description is useful here if you're going to keep content around. So let's create that. Once you create your dashboard, you end up in this kind of empty space, and you're going to be prompted to add a tile to start off your dashboard. So let's add our existing chart, so our saved chart, and we get a whole list of saved charts here in sales. My one's at the top because it's the most recent. Let's select that, and we'll add this chart. As soon as I add a chart, a few more options show up. I'm going to add one more chart because just to make the dashboard a bit more interesting. So let's see. I think there's one partner sales is possibly. Yeah, what are the sales stats per partner? Let's also add that. Great. So by default, you'll get these tiles in a standard size, but you can move these tiles around. So I can drag this around, and in the bottom right-hand corner, I can adjust the size. So you can play around a little bit to get it just how you want it to look. Great. I quite like this. I can also add some other tiles in here. For example, a Markdown tile. So this is where you can add kind of some context through text to your dashboard. So if I add a tile here, hit the Markdown option, I'm going to give this a title of Sales Dashboard, and I'm going to add some text in here. So here we're just saying, welcome to the Sales Dashboard. You can interact with it in this way. You might want to give some context to the data that exists. You can also do more interesting things, like you can add links. So I'm adding a link here to let's say to, not very exciting, but it's a good example. Or you can even embed images here. So there's an option in the editor here where you can, if you have a URL, a public URL for an image, you can embed images here. You can actually use HTML here as well to do some fancy formatting, change the color of your text, all kinds of cool stuff. So we'll add that here, and I'm going to move it around. I'm going to put it as kind of a bar at the top of my dashboard. Great, and that link comes up quite nicely. Once I'm happy with all this, I can hit save on my dashboard, and I'm ready to share. All the functionality you would expect is available with filters and date zoom all already built in. However, to make things a bit more usable for your colleagues, you might want to add some default filters to your dashboard, or highlight filters they might want to change. So you can head back to edit mode with the little icon up here, and we're going to add a filter. So from here, we can start to add filters that will show by default on our dashboard. So I could add a browser filter here that will show up by default to end users. And you can see I have some options here as to what end users need to supply. So I could supply a kind of a default value here if when people loaded up the dashboard at first, I wanted them to only see Chrome users, for example. I could pop that in. I could also require a value for the dashboard to run. And that's quite useful if you want to limit the date of something and you need users to always limit to the date dimension. Right now, I'm happy having it just as any value, and users can select what they need. One advanced feature also lets me limit what this filter applies to. So if I head to the Chart Tiles tab, I can decide that this browser filter is actually only going to change one chart instead of another. So by default, it will apply to all charts where the dimension exists, but you can adjust that. So let's apply this. Cool. Once I'm happy with my settings, I save the dashboard here, and I can see that the browser filter is now up here. It's currently defaulted to any value, so I haven't actually changed the what shows when you first open the dashboard, but I'm suggesting to my users that, oh, this might be a filter that you want to change. All right, so we've looked at custom metrics, dimensions, and table calculations. We put together a chart using some more advanced configurations, including some formatting. We saved that chart in our public space, and we created our first dashboard and made it nice and easy to use for our end users. With that, you're pretty much now a Lightdash Pro. Go and explore your own Lightdash instance or our demo site and put some of what you have learned into practice. We're super excited to see what you come up with.